Now let's just see. Yeah, you see we've got no resistance to putting that pencil into the sand at all. In theory, that's going to be a rubbish track. In practice, don't know so much. Certainly would be. The dogs would be coming off there covered in sand for sure. But whether that necessarily makes it a dangerous track, I don't honestly know. Just got to pat that down a bit. Tip off some more water if I can. I should really be draining this from below rather than above, but we just wiggle it. That brings the water up to the surface there. See if I dig down to where my membrane is, I can probably pour off water better. Yeah, that's better. Okay. A couple of things that might be worth merit a bit of illustration here. Firstly, I've just tipped the sand over, so let's have a look at the level of the sand. Okay, it's not too bad there. Put that up here. Sand at this end quite a lot drier. Even in that short space of time, we've still got more sand on the side I tipped than the other side. Shows how uneven the water distribution in the track can be sometimes. Let's just compact that down again. One of the problems I'm trying to illustrate, and I don't know if it's going to work, is that when you've got a very wet track, a poorly drained track, what can happen is that you either get a soft layer of sand and a very hard layer underneath, or the opposite way around. You can get a very hard layer of sand with a soft layer underneath. And if the paw goes through the hard layer, hits the soft layer, then again you've lost control of your paws if you happen to be the dog on there. Let's just try that now. Yeah, we're approaching something like that now actually. As you push the pencil into the sand, it's quite firm on the surface, but then there's a give as you get to about there. Resistance is lost and the pencil starts to move a lot quicker. Okay, so that just illustrates some of the problems. I think the things you're looking for, apart from the fact that it's got to be a good surface to run on, you're looking for consistency along the length of the track, and you're looking for consistency along the width of the track. Very difficult to achieve either of those. Certainly along the length, you're going to be affected by areas of the track that have kit running over them regularly, where the kit is stored. Areas of the track that have a lot more use, perhaps around the traps there. Along the length also you're going to be affected by things like sunlight, which bits of track have sunlight on, which bits of track are subjected to wind drying, that kind of thing. Across the width of the track, we've just illustrated really, most bends on most tracks are slightly banked, only slightly, but it's enough to make any water that you put on run towards the lower point of the banking. So the sand on, if the track is banked towards the middle, then the outer edge of the track will become very hard, and while the inside contains more water. So there's quite a difference there across the width of the track, and I mentioned the various other reasons. One of the other classic reasons is that between races, when the track is graded, the tractor runs down the inside edge and then down the outside edge, so you get this area in the middle has a lot more tractor wear on it. Obviously if you're taking a bowser of water around, then the same applies as well. You get more tractor wear, more tractor sand compaction down the middle of the track than you do around the outside. So yeah, there can be big differences, and of course if the dog is hitting different consistencies of sand as he runs, then that will potentially cause problems. You get very small localized inconsistencies as well. If the sand isn't level, when water's put on the track, it will pool in that area, and it'll run away from those areas. These areas of sand, for the full depth of the sand, will have more water flowing into them and flowing through them than these areas will. That will make a big difference as well. So very difficult to get sand consistency the same all the way around. That's why grading between races, when you put water on, really you should put the water on and then harrow afterwards, because the harrowing mixes the sand and mixes the water, so that the sand is evenly watered. If it's very difficult to spread water on a track evenly, and the little dips in the sand will compound that problem, and as I say, ideally that should be evened out by harrowing the surface of the sand afterwards, at least to a depth of an inch, and then grading over it. But in fact, I think reality is that you should probably harrow deeper than that, but that's very controversial because obviously you're disturbing the sand. In theory, you're losing grip, but on the other hand, you're bringing a lot more consistency to the surface. I don't know about that. Somebody probably does. So if anyone does, let me know.